Hey there. I forgot to record an intro for this. So, in this video, we will be working in the sketchbook with acrylic paint. I think that for the amount of time I spent on it, I did pretty good. I think I only spent like an hour on the painting, and I was trying not to get too focused on the details. I also haven't used acrylic paint in like 2 years, so that's whatever. Yeah, we'll get right into the drawing. I just realized I didn't do an intro, and it's probably a good idea. So, enjoy that, I guess.
Hello, welcome back. Today we are drawing something from Pirates of the Caribbean because I was like, oh, I should do that thing where people paint screen caps, and here I am very quickly showing you all of the supplies I'm going to be using. As you're watching this, please know that I have not used acrylic paint in like 3 or 4 years, so I kind of don't know what I'm doing, and I should have toned this paper with like watercolor or something, but here we are. It's also been a very long time since I might have to move to a different room, actually. It's also been a very long time since I've done a voiceover. It's been over a month for me. Almost 2, I think. I think the last one was the little gnome video when I looked. And that is truly, truly very interesting to me. But yeah, so it's been a while. I actually, I just opened my camera on accident and saw what I look like. What was I even talking about? It's actually been a very long time for me since I recorded a voiceover, and so I'm gonna do my best, truly. And it's probably, I honestly don't know what I'm gonna talk about. I wrote a little list of stuff I could talk about, but I'm just, like, kind of generally freaking out. I live in the United States, and the election and everything that's happening is really just, like, not great for me being, like, a steady, easy-minded person. And I'm trying really hard to, like, be chill and not freak out. But I'm not doing a good job. So I've been with my partner for 4 years, and they're Canadian, and they're like, we should move. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, what about all our stuff? And they're like, no, we should, like, leave. And I'm like, oh. So that really freaks me out, because I have a PTSD, and the thought of giving up all my stuff a second time, because I've already had to do that once, gives me hives. So I don't want to think about that, like, really, truly, at all. So instead I'm going to talk about Twilight. So I was supposed to go to this thing that we call presentation night, and basically what happens is I have a bunch of neurodivergent friends. We are all neurodivergent, and we like to info dump. So we plan an entire night where everyone takes turns info dumping, and we call that presentation night. And the last time I went, which was like last year, because it's like getting days off is hard when you need money. Anyways, last year I did a presentation on just the plot of Twilight. And I tried not to put any of my opinions in it because it would make it way longer and you only get 30 minutes. And so now I'm going to talk about how much I love Twilight. And I hope you like that. I might switch up. But that's the plan for this one. I'm going to talk about Twilight. So, my favorite thing about Twilight is just, like, how insane it is. I don't know, like, when you watch it, do you think about the fact that the person who wrote it is a Mormon? And then you're just like, wow, the way that this is so cringe, it all makes sense now. Like, it all makes so much sense now. Edward has never kissed anyone before he met Bella. I need you to just, like, stop and think about that. Edward had never even kissed anyone when he met Bella. And he says in the book from his point of view, I did not read the book, this is from someone who has actually read the book, that the reason that he is so good at, like, language and stuff, and the rest of his family isn't so good at language and stuff, is because they're all busy having relations, and he is in his bedroom trying to ignore it with his super hearing. And that makes me want to giggle so loud. What do you mean that you're good at, like, books and stuff because your siblings were busy boning and you didn't want to hear it? Your siblings who aren't your siblings, by the way, but everyone thinks you're siblings. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing in this video now, because I got to take a moment. So, I'm basically creating a gradient of the greens, because I wanted it to be like, oh, it's darker in this corner and lighter in this corner. But I should have made it less green. Like, I should have put some red in there or something. And I didn't, but I should have. So, yeah, we've got that going for us. This is sped up ×2, and it's still taking a really long time to get through this. I might cut some of this out. Hold on. Okay, I skipped. There was like another 2 minutes of just painting the background, even though it was sped up. So, yeah, we're finally painting a person now. And let me tell you, I used to be able to render beautiful 3-dimensional forms with acrylic paint. And since I've switched to oil, I'm like, how was I doing that? And now when I'm painting, all I can hear is that stupid TikTok. Did you know you have 30 minutes? 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That's what's playing in my head. I'm just thinking about how fast this paint is drying. Because I paint with oil and gouache now. So I'm just sitting here and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta go real fast. I'm like freaking out. So I don't think I will be using acrylic paints anymore. So if we move, that will be something I'll be decluttering. That's another thing. I'm like freaking out about like having to downsize my stuff, because when I moved, it was a nightmare. Like truly a nightmare. I have so much stuff, and that was just moving like across town. Can you imagine? I have a music box collection. I'm gonna have to like get a storage unit or something, or like beg my father-in-law to let me keep it in his garage. I have like 80 music boxes, guys. What am I gonna do with those? I mean, I guess, like, in theory, I would just be crossing land. I could just bring them with me. But, like, moving a U-Haul across states was expensive. Could you imagine how expensive moving a U-Haul across the country is? I'm freaking out. Maybe I should re-record this. We'll come back. I'll cut out the parts that are usable. It's fine. I'm not freaking out. You're freaking out. It's okay. So I'm painting the shirt, and I painted it kind of yellow because I was looking at the picture in the context of the other colors, and it's kind of yellow. And his face is very orange here. I don't know if I fixed that. I don't remember. I painted this a long time ago, and I'm just now doing the voiceover for it because I've been behind on editing, and I'm trying to get ahead of editing, and it's not working. It's genuinely, truly not working, because I finally got to a point where, like, had time to record new stuff, and I had time to edit, and blah, 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 and then the world was like, what if I took a big dump on your plans? And I was like, oh, okay. That's great. Yeah. He, like, I don't know. I didn't like this painting. I know I'm switching gears again. I'm sorry. I didn't like this painting. It was an exercise. Me sharing this with you is also an exercise of letting go. Because I think that you should show your failures. And this was, an epic fail. In fact, I'm going to cut some of me painting this beard out. One sec. Okay, now I'm trying to make this hand look like a hand. And it's very small, so I don't know why I was bothering. But I was trying. I was trying really hard. And again, I'd like to remind you for like the 5th time. This is sped up 200%. And it's still taking me so long to do anything. And I've cut out like a lot. This was like, I think ended up being like an hour and a half of footage that I've cut down to, I think, less than 30 minutes. And I'm still struggling to find 30 minutes of stuff to talk about. Because I like panic. I have a whole list sitting right here. I have a list of stuff. And I'm still sitting here like, oh my god, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to run out of stuff to talk about. Ah! So anyways, if you guys have... I'm losing my mind. If you guys have tips for moving or shipping your things cross country, message me, comment, please. Because I need advice. I've never done it. I guess I could ask her family, but I'm afraid that what they're going to tell me is you just have to get rid of most of your stuff, and I will cry. I'll cry. I'll just start crying. Yeah. I'm just going to cry a lot over the next few weeks as I try to figure out what I'm doing and what to do with my life, because what the heck, guys? This is scary. Okay, I only have to do, I looked, and with the stuff I've been cutting out as I've been watching this and making this voiceover, 9 more minutes. So, I think I can talk for 9 more minutes. I'm going to talk about Magic the Gathering now. So, I'm building, if you are familiar with Magic the Gathering, I'm building a life gain deck. And I'm playing Dina Shadow Stealer, Life Stealer, or something Dina something. And she says, her card says, whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. And I am super duper lucky. And I have this card called Enchanted Blood. I think that's what it's called. If you're a Magic the Gathering fan, you're shaking in your boots right now. Enchanted Blood says, when your opponents lose life, you gain that much life. So, I have a thing that I can search for. So, my opponents lose life. Let's say I play a deal damage, or I play a card that says so-and-so loses 1 life. I gain 1 life, and then each of my opponents lose 1 life. And then I gain 1 life for each life that they lost. And then it just goes on forever. And then I win. Now, that's not, the only way to win. That's an infinite. Those are rare. And, the thought, that I'll either naturally pull that card, or that I'll pull the thing that lets me look for the card, not likely. So I do have a bunch of other stuff. I have life gain stuff. I have life link. Life link means whenever you deal combat damage to someone, you gain that much life. So even if it doesn't go through, even if they block it, I still gain that much life, which is pretty cool. And a lot of it's flying. And I think my commander is flying. And when you're flying, you can only be blocked by other people with flying or reach. This sounds like gibberish to someone who doesn't play. So, I don't know. I think it's a pretty good deck strategy. I haven't built one, but I've been staring. Black and green are my jam. They're my jam. I love playing black and green. My other black and green deck is similar, but not at all. I have a commander that says that if no permanents left the battlefield this turn, the player whose turn it is loses life equal to his power. And then I have a background that says all of my creatures enter with +1/+1 counters as long as my commander is out. So that's pretty scary for everyone else. And then I have another card in there that says that all of my black creatures have wither, which means that every time you block one of my creatures, if they're a black creature, your creature gets weaker. I essentially give your characters cancer. It's crazy. It's crazy. Magic the Gathering is an insane game. Whoever thought of this in what was it, the 90s? Insane. Insane in the membrane. So yeah, that I'm really excited for that. I have another deck that I'm working on in secret, and the only hint I will give you is that it's a very hated mechanic in the community. It's just an insane mechanic, and people hate it with a burning passion. So I am keeping that one secret until such time as it is finished, and I know that it works. So I'll probably play test it with like my family, just because. Sorry, I had a moment of existential dread there. I'll probably play test it with my family because they won't judge me. They'll just be like, "Don't play that deck again," and I'll be like, "Okay, heard." If it works. If it doesn't work, they'll be like, "That's a sad deck," and I'll be like, "Yeah, you're right. I gotta fix that." So, got that going for us. What else do I have going for us? I can talk about the cats. I have 2 cats, and one of them is new, and one of them is not new, and they, like, don't hate each other, but my cat, my old cat, is, like, she's kind of a bitch. She's like, "Oh, I'm slightly grumpy, so I'm gonna go beat up the baby," and I'm like, "Hey, don't beat up the baby," and she's like, "I'm mad because you are awake, and there's no food in my bowl, so I have to be mean to her," and I'm like, "Don't do that." And then the other cat, we got her a new tower, and she's in love. We got her a new tower because she was supposed to be fully grown. She was supposed to be an adult cat when we got her, and she definitely wasn't. She's huge. She's doubled in size almost, and that's crazy to me. But she really, really, really loves it. She spends all of her time in it, so I'm actually really excited about that. I just realized I've spent, like, no time talking about, like, what I'm doing in this painting during this voiceover of me painting. But that's probably fine. I don't know. I'll cut out the parts of me freaking out. And I'll put in parts of me talking about what we're doing. Also, my nose has been runny for, like, months now. Because I get a cold once, and then it doesn't clear up until summer. And I've had to, like, blow my nose this whole time. I don't know if you can tell. I'm not as bad as I was in the beginning. But, yeah. So, yeah. Basically, I'm just trying to make this darker over in this gradient here. And I think I go back and make everything else darker, but I don't remember. Because I did this months ago. So, yeah. I just work a lot. I actually just recently changed my availability for work, so part of the reason I'm procrastinating doing this is because I have to go to work later, and I'm pretty sure my general manager is going to be mad at me. But I don't know, maybe if he wasn't copying and pasting a schedule that I can't work, I wouldn't have to change my availability so that it yells at him. So that's how it be when you work in food service. Your managers just kind of like don't care what's good for you and what's not good for you. And if you're like, "Hey, this doesn't work for me," they're like, "That's too bad. You should have thought of that before you needed a job." And you're like, "Great, thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. That was very helpful." Like, one time, I remember my friend who used to work there was like, "Oh, hey, why did you triple seat me?" And our manager, who was at the host stand at the time, said, "If you can't handle being triple sat, then maybe you shouldn't work in a restaurant." I had to pause. Did you hear the audacity? The audacity to be like, "Hey, if you can't handle having triple the workload at the same time, you shouldn't have a job." Have you ever thought of that? I'm sorry? If you can't handle... Actually, that would have made it really clear who the manager was, so I'm not going to say that. But, like, you literally can't handle your job, and no one says that shit to you. So, who do you think you are? Who do we think we are? Be serious right now. Anyways, I'm probably gonna let, like, 2 minutes of this be music. Oh, bye. Alright, so it's been an entire week since I started that. I was supposed to finish it in one sitting, the way that you do like a movie. I didn't do that, but then I came in here to film this because my girlfriend's home, and when I film in there, when my girlfriend's home, you can hear every single sound that she makes, and I have misophonia, so when I'm editing, that's a nightmare. Here's the book. She's getting like, I didn't realize how full this was. I have, let's see, here's where we left off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 pages left. And then this is finished. So I might have finished 2 sketchbooks this year by the end of Christmas. Maybe that'll be my next video, me staying up all night to finish the sketchbook. But it would honestly probably just be a fuck ton of doodles and studies at that point. This is where we left off. I forgot how shiny acrylic paint was. Also, sorry, I heard someone moving. I did not calculate for the pages like stuck together. So I think I'm going to have to paint over that with like black or something. And then when I pulled the clips up, it pulled up like some of the paper. I think the only thing I really still want to do is I want to like make this look like a brick wall. Not sure how I'm going to do that, but I have the underpainting with the values, so. But first, I have to clean my bedroom because I'm sitting on a pile of laundry right now. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back to this. I don't remember if I filmed an intro for this or not, but I think this is going to be the video this week.
Alright, ignore how bad I look. Somebody at work got me sick, so I've been blowing my nose and laying down for 3 days. But, I don't think that we're gonna finish this and put more details on it because despite the fact this is acrylic paint and it's all dried, every single time I close this sketchbook, the pages stick together. And I did not anticipate that. And I don't know if you can see, but it's like ripping chunks. I'm sorry, you can hear the dog upstairs. It's like ripping chunks of the paint off onto the other side of the page. I actually don't know where it's going, but not working out. So this is going to have to be the finished whatever. I'll probably never come back to it because I am almost done with this book. So yeah, thanks. If the video is entertaining, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Glitter in his eyes, but he's crying.